Hello, how's everybody doing today? My name is Jen Holt, and I'm here to bring you a little chair yoga practice. Before we get too deep into that, I thought we'd talk a little bit about nutrition, remembering that our yoga practice isn't just about how we take care of ourselves on our yoga mat, but also generally how we take care of ourselves in the world, including how we're eating and how we're nourishing ourselves. So making sure that you're getting in plenty of fruits and vegetables, that you're managing the micro and macronutrients, so balancing out between carbohydrates, proteins, fats, things like that. So what I have here, I have my little protein smoothie that I made, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about that today. So this is a great way to help you get in fruits, vegetables, and protein easy, on the go if you're busy, or if you're like me. I don't like to eat a lot of heavy foods in the morning. It's hard on my digestion, so sticking to a lighter smoothie or something like that is generally a little bit better for me. So if you're wondering what I have in here in my little jar of goodness, so I mixed up some frozen fruit, and there's lots of recipes online, but I'll just give you a little breakdown of one of my favorites that I like to make for myself. So I've got some mixed fruit in here. That's gonna sweeten it up. I don't put any sugar or honey or anything like that. I don't add sweeteners. I just rely on the fruit. The fruit is sweet enough. I also add a little bit of almond milk, which sometimes I buy sweetened, sometimes unsweetened. It kind of depends on, what's available at the store and whatnot. But so sometimes there's a little bit of sweetener in the milk too. So if we add our fruit, and there's always a little bit of sugar, sweetener, and milk, things like that can help sweeten it up, so that way we don't have to add a lot of added sugars. For my protein, I used hemp protein powder. That's what works well with my system. I also tend to prefer plant-based proteins. So for me, it works well. Of course, there are lots of forms of protein out there. So there's lots of different protein powders that you can try out. Keeping in mind that different things work better for different people. And so if you find that you're using a protein powder and you get a little bit of digestive issues, or your stomach gets a little upset, try a different brand or a different variety and see if that works for you. The other thing to watch for in the protein powders is those added sugars. Anytime we're buying anything prepackaged, we want to check the labels and make sure we know what's in it and what we're taking into our bodies. And sugar and salt in a protein powder, it's mainly the sugar that you're going to be concerned about, are the things to watch for. So just making sure that you're aware of what you're choosing there. Other than that, it's protein powder, milk, fruit. There's lots of other things that you can add in. Since I'm using hemp protein, it's already got the omegas in it, but if you're using another form of protein, you could consider adding either chia seeds or flax seeds for the omegas. They'll also add a little bit of fiber in there for you, which is important to keep our digestive system healthy. You can also I like to add greens. I kind of just add whatever I have handy. Either kale or spinach go nice in your smoothie. That brings in a little bit of iron in your leafy greens and other nutrients. So you can add that in as well. And there's, again, lots of other ideas out there. Get creative, use whatever makes you happy, whatever kind of fruit you like. Try different protein powders. It's a great way, again, to get in our fruits and vegetables and our protein. So if you're struggling with any of that, try a little smoothie. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and get started with a little bit of movement practice with our chair yoga. So you'll notice right away, I'm in a chair that does not have arms. If all you've got at home is a chair with arms, that's okay. Just do your best. You might find that the arms are getting in your way a little bit. It's okay. Do your best. So we're gonna start seated in our chairs. You can have your feet flat on the mat. And if you're like me, I have a kind of short legs. So I'm gonna scooch up a little bit so that my feet can really be flat on the floor. And knees are kind of in line with the hips, or the hips are a little bit higher than the knees. So if you're pretty tall and your knees are up here, you might take a pillow or some padding onto your chair to lift your hips up a little bit higher, and you'll find you're a little bit more comfortable. If you can get your feet on the floor and your back is still on the chair, I'm going to invite you to still scooch up. That way we can use our own body strength to sit tall, working on building the strength to improve our posture. Once you've found your comfortable seat, we're going to work on rolling those shoulders up, back, and down. So inviting a little bit more space into the chest and just making sure the shoulders aren't bunching up to the ears. Your hands could be resting on the thighs, palms down, palms up, or you could rest your arms by your side, whatever feels comfortable here for you. Not so important where we place our arms, more important that we're comfortable enough so that we can focus on our breath. So if it's comfortable and available to you, you can allow your eyes to close. If that doesn't feel right, you can keep them open, but just take your gaze to one point in front of you and kind of see if you can allow the world to fall away. So we're just going to start to bring our awareness a little bit more inward, doing a little bit of a check-in here. Starting to bring awareness to your body and notice how you feel. We spend so much of our time looking and exploring the external world. So much so that sometimes we lose sight, lose touch with what we're feeling internally. So the invitation here is to start to reduce or remove those external stimulation or external distractions so that we can bring our awareness more inward and really notice how it feels to be in our bodies. Take your awareness through your legs from the feet all the way up to the hips, and just see if you can really become aware of what sensation feels like in your legs. You may feel the soles of the feet touching the mat or the floor beneath you. Take your awareness to that connection and just notice what that feels like. Then continue scanning up the leg, around the ankle, what sensation arises for you there. Noticing the calf muscle, the shin, the knees, the backs of the knees, the hamstrings on the backs of our thighs, the tops of the thighs, our seat on the chair. Notice your legs. What do they feel like today? Now we're going to continue drawing awareness upward. Feeling the spine here. Noticing how the sitting bones beneath you are rooted, and we're lifting up through the top of the head so that we're not dumping weight into the lower back. The lower back should feel open and spacious here. The arms are heavy, shoulders away from the ears. The abdomen is softly moving with the breath. Taking awareness even higher up to the neck and the head. Allowing both sides of the neck to feel long as the shoulders soften and we sit tall. Allowing there to be space between the teeth as we allow the jaw to relax. Feeling the muscles around the eyes and the forehead smoothing out as we relax our face. Now from this point, with the entire body resting, Take your awareness to your breath and just see how it's moving for you today. Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it deep or shallow? Without trying to change it, just starting to notice what's true for you in the present moment. Our breath is a good indicator into how we're doing physically and mentally. When the breath is a little bit shallow or choppy, that's a good indicator that we may be feeling a little agitated or excited. When the breath is long, slow, and deep, our bodies and our minds are relaxed. See if you can find that. Working on deepening the breath by inviting just a little bit more air in as you inhale. And on the exhale, looking to see if you can empty your lungs a little bit more fully. Deep breaths in through the nose. Full exhales out the nose. We'll take just a few more breaths here, trusting our bodies to take in the right amount of air that we need and just witnessing that breath. And we're going to start to find some gentle movement in the body. You can choose to keep your eyes closed, or you could start to blink them open whenever you feel ready. If your hands have come someplace else, we're going to rest them onto our laps. And we'll start with a little spinal movement in our seated cat-cow. So on the inhale, we're just going to start to lift the chest up. And if it's okay on the neck, you can look up a little bit. Notice that the shoulders are softening down. They're not bunching up. Then on the exhale, we're going to start to round the back and tuck the chin in. The pelvis will tilt, so you'll feel your whole back come into a bit of a C shape. On the inhale, we'll start to lift the chest back up, soften shoulders down. Exhale, round the back and tuck the chin. Let's do about 3 more at your own pace, so you can start to explore moving with your breath, noticing how that feels. When we move with the breath, it tends to be calming for our nervous system, helping our minds and our bodies to relax just a little bit more. Let's take 1 more breath here. And at the bottom of your exhale, whenever that happens, we're going to look for our neutral seat, sitting up nice and tall, looking to see if we can bring the shoulders so that they're over the hips. On the inhale, we're going to wake up our arms a little bit, so you can bring your arms by your sides. We're going to start to circle arms around and up, and you can see if you can bring the palms together overhead. If that doesn't work for you, you'll stop wherever feels right. Then on the exhale, palms will flip, and we'll bring the hands back down by our sides with control. So notice how slow I'm moving. We're not in a race here. We'll keep flowing with breath. Palms will flip to face the ceiling as the arms rise up. Palms may or may not touch, not too important. Noticing how when we move slowly and mindfully, there's a lot more muscular control here. So we're not using momentum. We're using the muscles of the arms and shoulders to make this action happen. Try to see if you can move a little bit slower. And moving consciously, being very aware of how it feels to move in this way. Let's do 1 more. The next time the arms are by the sides, we'll hold here. This time on the inhale, we're going to warm up the shoulders in a different way. We're going to start to bring the arms forward and up. And notice how slow I'm moving, remembering we're not in a race. We're just moving slowly so that we can use those muscles. Really being aware of what's happening here as we're moving. On the inhale, the arms come up. And on the exhale, they go down. Noticing as your arms go up, are the shoulders starting to bunch up? And can you resist that, allowing the shoulders to stay down even as we're moving the arms? We'll do 2 more at your own pace, so you may be moving smaller or bigger, faster or slower than me, and that's okay. Last one. When the arms are overhead, we're going to pause here and we're going to turn the hands to face each other, the palms to face each other. Fingertips are pointed up. Once again, we're going to become aware of those shoulders. Do you feel them bunching up towards the ears like this? And if so, can you allow them to soften down even as we keep the arms lifted? So it's thinking about taking those shoulder blades and allowing them to soften down the back. Now feel that light engagement of the core. Think about pulling the belly in a little bit and pressing down through the feet so the legs feel a little bit active. Let's take one more breath here. And then on the exhale, we'll soften arms down however you would like so the arms can rest by the sides. Nice job. We'll get into the shoulders. We'll loosen those up a little bit more. So this time on the inhale, we're going to bring the shoulders up towards the ears. And on the exhale, we'll squeeze the shoulder blades together to roll the shoulders back down and around. Inhale, you can bring the shoulders forward a little bit as they come up. And then on the exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together as you allow the shoulders to roll down and forward. So you can keep moving with your own breath. Your shoulder circles may be bigger or smaller than mine, and that's okay. We're just exploring our shoulder joint today, looking to see what it feels like to move our shoulders. Noticing if there are any places that want to catch, any places that feel a little sensitive or challenged today. Let's do one more in this direction. And then we're going to reverse that. So we'll bring the shoulders forward and down, back and up, or whichever way you weren't going last time. So as we move in one way and then the other, we're working on our brain. We're also helping to loosen up all those tight muscles. We all tend to have a lot of tension around our shoulders. That's true for most of us. It's where we tend to hold the weight of the world. So the invitation here is to start to let some of that go if it's available. Or if not, maybe you can just loosen the grip today. Let's do 1 or 2 more. And then as you feel ready, we're going to find a little bit of stillness, shoulders melting down away from the ears. Nice job. Inhale, let's bring arms all the way around and up. This time on the exhale, we'll bring them forward and down. Inhale, arms come forward and up. Exhale, down and around. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, around and up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, down by your sides. Beautiful. Inhale, we'll bring arms around and up once again. This time on the exhale, we're going to start to bend the elbows out wide. So we're taking cactus arms or goalpost arms, whatever imagery works best for you. See if you can keep the elbows so they're a bit higher than the shoulders, working our arms a little bit. If that's not available, you can start to soften them down. Notice where your shoulders are at in relation to the ears. See if you can allow the shoulders to soften down a little bit more. Nice job. We're going to open through the chest a little bit. So on the next exhale, we're going to bring our forearms and our palms together. Remember, we're not in a race. We're moving slowly and with control. Then on the inhale, we're going to open those arms back out, kind of like you're opening a window. Notice, have those elbows started to soften down, and can you keep them high? Let's do 2 more like that. On the exhale, palms, forearms come closer together, working those arms. Inhale, open up. Last one. Exhale, bring the palms, forearms together. And it's okay if they don't touch. Inhale, they open up. Next time your arms are opened up, let's pause here for a moment, taking a moment again to soften those shoulders down. This time we're going to look and see if we can squeeze the shoulder blades together behind us so the elbows will come back a little bit and you'll feel the chest lifting up. The gaze could stay forward, or you could even look up a little bit. Take care of your neck here. One more breath. Then on the exhale, let's release. We're going to allow the hands to rest down on our lap, and we'll take a little bit of a forward fold. So take a moment to sit tall on the inhale. See if you can lift up out of that lower spine. Then on the exhale, we're going to squeeze the abdomen in a little bit to help support our spine as we fold forward. So this may be your forward fold today. You may stay here, lift it a little bit higher with your hands on your knees. I'll scooch my chair back a little bit so you can see me. Or if you have a deeper forward fold calling to you, you can work on sliding your hands down your shins, and you'll stop wherever feels right. So you may find your lower leg, you may be able to find your ankles or your feet. You might even be able to bring your hands onto the floor between your feet. Remember, it's not so important where we come. We don't want to force ourselves into something that our body isn't ready for, or something that doesn't feel good for us. We're just going to the place that feels supportive and safe in our bodies. If it feels okay, you can allow your head to hang heavy here, and you'll notice, or you might notice as you allow your head to hang heavy, that you may feel a deeper stretch through your spine. We'll take about 2 more breaths here. When we go into these inversions, when we fold forward, we help to stretch out our glutes and our back body. It's also a great way to help bring our nervous system into balance, bring our tension and stress levels down. As you feel ready to move on, if your hands have left your knees, we're going to bring them back up to the knees or the thighs. And then we're going to squeeze the belly in a little bit on our way up to help protect our spine. See if you can come up with a flat back. So we're using our core strength there. Let's use our core strength a little bit more. So we're going to get a little bit deeper into our core. So earlier I invited you to scooch up into your chair. At this point, I'm going to invite you to scooch back. So you can allow your back to come onto the chair as needed. We're going to start to extend our legs, and we don't want to overuse our back. So you can allow the back to rest a little bit if that feels okay. But what we want to be mindful of is this engagement here on our core, our abdomen. So we know this, but just as a reminder, our abdomen is super important, not only for our everyday posture, but also for our back. Our abdomen, and having a strong core, which actually our core is also our side body and our back body, but having a strong abdomen helps support our back. So if you ever get low back pain, it's a good idea to think about what's happening here. This supports this, right? So we're going to help strengthen our core a little bit here, but I want you to be really mindful and only do what feels right today. Don't push yourself past what you can do today. So once you've got your back down, before we even work on lifting a leg, we're just going to help ourselves identify our core muscles. So you might bring one or both hands to your abdomen. See if you can find the lower abdomen, that place below the belly button. So we have this place between the belly button and the pubic bone. This is the part of the core that tends to be a little bit harder to get to. We tend to be able to engage the higher abs up here a little bit easier. So we're going to focus lower down, the lower belly. Bring your hands onto your belly and just start to watch your breath here. Notice how when you breathe in, the belly expands and we get a little bit of a stretch on the abdomen. And then when we exhale, the belly comes in, and it may even feel like a light contraction. When we're taking our big breaths, it is a light contraction. As we inhale, the belly expands. And then on the exhale, feel it come in. So you can keep your hands on the abdomen, just witnessing that movement, that natural movement that happens with the breath. Now remember how I said when we exhale, there's a light engagement of the core. We're going to play with that a little bit here. So have your hands on that low belly so that we can notice what's happening here. Inhale, the belly expands. This time on the exhale, we're going to see what can you do to make this area feel a little bit more firm and feel like it's working. It might be bringing the belly button back toward the spine, or thinking about zipping up the core like a zipper. There's different imagery that works for different people. Then on the inhale, we'll allow it to expand and release. Exhale, tighten up the core. What can you do to make these muscles a little bit more firm? And they may not feel firm from the outside because we have this layer on top, right? But internally, what can you do to make yourself feel strong here? Then on the inhale, we relax and release. Let's do 2 more like that. Exhale, bring the belly in. Whatever you can do today is okay. Inhale, the belly expands. 1 more. Exhale, pull the belly in. Inhale, it expands. Nice job. Let's relax and release there. So now hopefully we found a little bit of core strength there. Hopefully you found a little bit of a firming sensation or a little bit of an engagement. If not, keep working on that before you lift your legs up, okay? You can try a little bit of a leg lift, but just make sure you're not feeling tension in the back. And if so, you'll skip that, keep the legs down, and keep just trying to find your core strength, okay? If you found your core strength and you feel like it would be safe to lift a leg, we're going to start to practice that. So you can have your hands on your belly. You can have them holding onto your chair. Whatever works for you today is okay. You can have them out by your sides if that works. So think about sitting tall. So what I want you to notice first, even if our back is against the chair, we can still sit tall. So what we don't want to do, there's a difference between relaxing here and sitting tall here. This is what we want to find, tall spine, okay? So already, when you lift it up to try to lift out of that lower back, you may have felt a little bit of engagement here on your lower belly. Now we're going to try it to add a little leg lift. So remember, you can hold onto the chair if you need. We're going to squeeze the belly in and see if we can lift that right heel up. So think about kicking the heel out in front of you. Then on the exhale, with control, we're going to lower the foot back down, and we'll do the other side. Pull the belly in, extend that left leg out, and then release it down. Let's try the right side again. Kick out that right heel, and then lower it down. Keep that belly firm. Make sure you're using your core strength. Left side. Let's do 1 more each side. You can do it. Rest out if you need. But if it feels safe, keep going. Nice job. Now, as both feet meet the mat, I'm going to give you 1 more little challenge, but only do this if it's safe for you, okay? You can do 1 leg at a time again, or if you want to try it, make sure the belly is really, really firm, and we're going to see if we can bring both legs out in front of us. Flex the toes towards the face if that's available. If this feels okay, you can take the arms up overhead, but make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up. We're here for our 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Let's go ahead and release all the way back down. We're going to take another forward fold. This time I'll invite you, if you would like, to step the feet out a little bit wider. So as we step the feet out wider, and you'll notice, or you may or may not be able to see, my toes are pointed out a little bit and the heels are pointed in. On the inhale, we're going to sit up nice and tall. Then on the exhale, we're going to start to come into our fold. So you can allow your hands to rest on the knees or the thighs, or if you feel like it, you can bring the elbows to the knees or thighs if you can make it to this depth. You can hold here if this is what's right for you, or if you want to try folding deeper, once again, the hands can slide down the legs and you'll stop wherever it feels right. So you may be stopping at the lower leg, at the ankle, Or if it's appropriate and available, hands can come between the feet on the mat. So these are all just options. Remember, you want to do what feels good in your body today. Go ahead and allow the head to hang a little bit heavy here so we can stretch through the back body. Make sure the breath stays flowing. On the next exhale, we're going to go ahead and start to make our way out. So if your hands have come down, we're going to bring them back up to the knees or thighs, and we're going to squeeze the belly on the way up to help protect our spine. Remember, this is what protects this. This is what supports this, right? So when you're ready, we're going to step feet back into center. Think about sitting up nice and tall, shoulders down away from the ears. So I'll invite you at this point, if anyone would like to stand up today, you can stand up. If you would prefer to stay seated in your chair, please do so. I will give you options for either way. So whatever feels good today, you want to stay seated, stay seated. If you want to stand, then we'll rise up. If you're standing, we're going to make our way all the way back to our chair. So that way we can use the chair for a little bit of support and balance. We'll work on our standing Tadasana pose. We did this a little bit seated in the chair earlier. I'm going to turn to my side just so that you can see what's happening here a little bit better, but you can stay right where you are. So if you're standing, you're going to want to think about having the feet so that the toes are in front of the heels. Notice, do your toes splay out a little bit so the toes are wider than the heels, or do they come in? Some of us stand in these ways. So we're just going to see if we can bring the toes so they're in front of the heels and the feet are like a number 11 on the mat. If that doesn't feel right for you, or if it's not available for you today, don't worry about it. It's okay. Just do your best. And you can do that seated in a chair too, just checking out what's happening with the feet. Then we're going to think about having the feet so that they're over the hips, or the ankles so that they're under the hips. Sorry. So it's ankles and hips in alignment. Notice what's happening with your pelvis. If you're standing, is your tailbone sticking out a little bit, or is it rolling under? And can you find a little bit of a neutral place there? Then we'll take our awareness up to the shoulders so that the shoulders are over the hips. And then the ears, we want the ears to bring over the shoulders. The arms can be at your sides. So if you're in your chair, it's the same alignment principles, except for the feet. The feet are in line with the knees rather than the hips. Hips, shoulders, ears in alignment. So this is our Tadasana pose, working on our everyday posture. You'll notice a little bit of light engagement of the core to hold your hips and your body in alignment. If you're standing and it feels appropriate, you can have your hands on your chair, or you can work on taking one or both hands off of the chair. Do what feels safe today. If you want to keep a hand on the chair, please do. Think about standing really tall, lifting the top of the head away from the feet, feeling that line of energy from the feet all the way up to the top of the head. You can keep your hands down. You can have a hand on the chair. If it's available, I'll invite you to challenge your balance just a little bit by bringing the arms overhead. And you can do this in a chair as well, right? We did this earlier. So reaching up through the fingers, softening down through the shoulders. Feel the strength of your core here. Feel the length of your body. If it doesn't feel right to have both hands up, or if you feel like you're losing your balance, take a hand back down to the chair. If you're okay here, and you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, we're going to see if we can lift the heels up. So remember, you can have a hand down or both hands down. When you're ready, we're going to press into the balls of the feet just under the toes to see if you can lift the heels up any amount. And then with control, we'll lower them down. And we can do this in a chair as well, right? In a chair, it would just look like this, right? And you can have the hands up or resting down. So whichever variation you're doing, whether it's seated or standing, whether arms are lifted or lowered, we're going to see if we can do about 4 more if you're still with me. Remember, you can rest out if you need. So we're strengthening the muscles of the legs and the feet. This will help improve balance. The next time the heels are lifted, let's see if we can hold here. Bring them down if you need. One more breath. And then we'll lower them all the way down. Nice job. We'll do a little bit of our half sun salute, which you can do seated or standing. I'll show you the standing variation. So on the inhale, arms come around and up. This is the same seated or standing, right? On the exhale, this is where it gets a little bit different. If you're standing, you can bring your arms down and around. They could hold the back of the chair, or you could bend the knees and fold a little deeper so hands can come to the knees. If you're in your chair, it's going to be just the same as we did before. Hands rest on the knees. Chest comes forward as we fold. On the inhale, from your fold, whatever variation you're doing, we're going to rise up just about halfway, looking for just a little bit more length in the spine from wherever you are, looking to see if you can find more space from the tailbone to the top of the head. Then on the exhale, we're going to fold a little bit deeper. So if you don't need the chair and you want to fold all the way down, you could do so. If you want to keep your hands on the chair, or if you're in your seat and you want to slide the hands down the legs, you can do any variation. On the next inhale, we're going to come up about halfway again, lengthen the top of the head away. Exhale, let's fold forward. Any amount is okay. One more time. Inhale, we'll lengthen up about halfway. See if you can reach the top of the head away from the tail. Then on the exhale, we'll fold a little bit more. Inhale, we'll come up about halfway once again. This time on the exhale, we're going to come all the way up, either to our neutral stance or our neutral seat. Beautiful. On the inhale, we'll circle both arms around and up if you'd like. Exhale, arms come down by your sides. Nice job. So let's come, I'll keep the chair turned to the side. So we're gonna come into a little bit of a warrior pose here. I'll show you the chair and the standing variation. So I'll show you the chair variation first. That way if you're standing, you're not hanging out in there too long. So if you're in your chair, you're just gonna step the right foot out to the right. Any amount is okay. You may not have this much space between your knees. That's okay. We're just looking for a little bit of a stretch here. Sit tall. Your hands can stay down, or you can stretch them out. Reach through the fingers, soften through the shoulders. So your standing variation, if you're standing behind your chair, is going to be to widen your feet a little bit further apart. And then what you're going to do is turn your right toes so the right toes are facing in the opposite direction as the left. My left toes are facing toward the short edge of my mat, toward this wall, and my right toes are facing toward you, toward the camera. Then what you're going to do is find a little bend in the right knee. Stand tall. You can have one or both hands on the chair, or if you want to try it, you can reach one arm out, or you can reach both arms out. So we're going to press down through the feet and engage the core. Even if you're seated in your chair, you can energetically press the feet down to help work the legs. We're going to see if we can hold here for about 2 more breaths. If you need to release, if you're getting tired, come out. It's okay. Nice, slow, deep breaths. One more. Nice job. Let's go ahead and bring the hands down. You can straighten through the legs, and we're just going to move to the other side. So if you're standing, the right toes are going to rotate in. So now both toes are facing this way, and then I'm going to take my left toes to point out to the left. If you're in your chair, you'll just step that right foot back in and left foot back out. Shoulders over the hips, no matter where you are. Arms could reach out. If you're standing, they could be resting on the chair. So whatever variation you're in, pressing down through the feet so our legs are active. Use your core strength here to sit or stand tall. Arms could be resting, or you could have one or both hands reaching out. Any variation is okay today. Just doing our best. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Feel the strength of your legs and your core. This is a strength building pose. We're all strong, strong warriors. One more breath. Then on the exhale, let's go ahead and release. You can float the hands down. We'll straighten through the legs. And if you're standing, you'll step your feet back together. Let's do one more little forward fold after that big pose to help bring our heart rate back down. So if you're in your chair, or if you're not in your chair, if you're standing, I'll give you a little chest opening variation here. So you can bring your hands to the chair if you're standing and step or walk the feet back. Once the feet come back far enough, you can allow the chest to kind of come forward toward the chair. You may be back further, so the arms may be extended more. I just don't want to go too far out of frame. The gaze, it could be down, and you take it as low as you would like to go or as high as you would like to be. If you're in your chair, you're just going to take any variation of forward fold. You could have the feet together. You could step them apart a little bit, and you just fold forward. We're going to hold in whatever variation you're in for about 2 or 3 more breaths. Nice job. So if you're standing, to make your way out, you'll take your gaze toward the chair and then step or walk feet back up. If you're seated, you know how to come out. You'll come up as you're ready. So if you're standing, we're going to go ahead and start to make our way all the way back down to our chairs. So we're going to come all the way around. If you're standing and you've still got a little bit of energy, I'll give you one more little challenge here. And that's going to be to sit down with control and with awareness. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we're lined up with the chair. Take your gaze back. Make sure that you're actually going to make it into the chair, because we're not going to look when we're sitting down. Have your feet on the mat in front of you. You can have your hands on your hips. You can reach them out. Sometimes that's a nice little counterbalance. You can reach them back to touch the chair if that feels safer. So as you're ready, wherever your hands are, you're just going to start to bend the knees. So you'll notice a little bit more weight shifting toward your heels. Press all 4 corners of the feet down. Slow, slow, slow. See if you can lower yourself into the chair without making a sound. I made a little sound. This chair is noisy. Nice job. Whatever you did was okay. All right. Let's give our legs a little bit of a stretch here, and then we'll be all done. You made it through your practice. So we're going to start on, I'll mirror you. We'll go to the right leg, and we're just going to start to extend that right leg out. So we're getting a little bit of length through the back of the leg here. If you choose, you could flex and point the toes a little bit. And your heel could be resting down, or if you want to use a little bit more core strength, you could bring the heel up a little bit. But notice, are you leaning forward or back? Can you sit tall? Nice job. If the heel is lifted, let's go ahead and rest it back down. We're going to sit up nice and tall on the inhale, and then if you like, you can explore a little bit of a forward fold. So just being mindful as you fold forward that we're trying to keep the back a little bit long rather than doing this kind of thing. See if you can find a little bit of a longer spine. If that's not working for you, it's okay to round the back a little bit. It's a slightly different stretch either way. Let's take about 2 more breaths here. Nice job. Then we're just going to switch up the legs, so we'll rise back up if you folded forward. We'll bring the right foot in and the left leg out. If you like, you can flex and point the toes a little bit here, and the heel could be resting down, or if you want, you could lift the leg up. Noticing if you're lifting the leg up, we're really aware of our posture, right? Any movement of the foot or ankle is okay. You can circle a little bit if you like. Then when you feel ready, we're going to rest that heel back down to focus on the stretch here. sit tall as you inhale. On the exhale, if you like, you can explore a little bit of a forward fold. If that's not working for you today, it's okay. Just do what you can today, getting that stretch on the back of the leg there. And on the next exhale, let's go ahead and come on out. So we're gonna rise back up if you folded forward, and we'll bring the left sole of the foot back onto the mat. We're gonna get into the hips and the shoulders a little bit here. So let's start. We're gonna bring the right knee in a little bit, and you can cross the left knee over the right. If this isn't available for you, sometimes the hips don't allow for this movement, you can cross at the ankles. This is a great way to be. Either or, doesn't really matter. Whatever feels good in your body is the right answer. If you're here and the heel is kicking out a lot like this, you can just see if you can soften it down a little bit. And that might mean a little bit of an adjustment on the leg. Sometimes if you bring the knee up a little bit, you can allow the heel to rest down. If that's not available, just do what you can today. All right, so we're gonna sit nice and tall. Now we're gonna stretch the arms and shoulders a little bit. So we're gonna bring the arms out in front of us, and then we're just gonna wrap ourselves up in a big hug. But we're gonna see if we can bring the left arm over the right, and you can rest your hands on your shoulders here, on the tops of the shoulders. As the hands are on the shoulders, it's a great time to check in and see, are your shoulders up here? And if so, can you allow them to come down a little bit? Breath is moving, and the body is starting to relax a little bit here. Now, if it's available, we're going to do a little bit of movement from here. So on the next inhale, if it's appropriate for you, we're going to see if we can lift the elbows up a little bit. If that's not for you today, then skip it. And then as you exhale, we'll lower them back down. Let's do 2 more like that. If it's available, remember, we can always skip things that aren't working for us. The point of the yoga practice isn't to force ourselves into things, but rather to get to know our bodies a little bit better. So if you are finding that movement, the next time the elbows are down, I'm going to give you one more little challenge here, but take it at your own pace. If it's not right, don't do it. We're going to keep the elbows close together, but we're going to see if we can bring the hands up, and maybe the backs of the hands can make it together today. If not, you can bring your hands back here. All right, if the backs of the hands have made it together, and if not, it's okay. But if they have, you can work on lifting the elbows up. If they haven't, you can still work on lifting the elbows up from here, just like we did before. But this time we're gonna hold. One more breath. And then let's go ahead and release. So you can soften the elbows down. We're gonna unwind those arms, and we'll unwind those legs. This time we're going to do an opposite stretch, opening up through the pecs a little bit here, through the chest. So we're going to start by taking the shoulders up, back, and down. And notice this movement right here, it already gives us a little stretch in here, right? So we're going to extend that a little bit. If it's available, you can take your hands back behind you, and you might be able to bring fingertips together, or you might be able to hold on to an opposite thumb. If that's not working for you, you can also take the back of the chair somewhere, or you can just reach fingertips back. On the inhale, we're going to start to lift the chest up and away, and we'll hold here for 2 more breaths. So we're helping to prevent that rounded forward posture we all tend to take. I do it too, but we know it's more supportive, more healthy for our spine to have the shoulders back and down. On the next exhale, let's go ahead and release. We're going to come back to center, and we've got one more side to go. So we're going to step that left foot a little bit more into center, and then the right knee is going to cross over the left. Remember, you've got options here. If this isn't working, cross at the ankle. And sometimes it works on one side and not the other. So it's okay to do different things on different sides. We just want to put them in the same amount of effort so that one day we can find balance. So whatever variation you did on the other side or that is available on this side, remember if the foot is kicking out a lot, sometimes it can help to bring the knee up a little bit and you can bring the heel back in a little bit. If that's not working, just do your best, do whatever is available for you today. Now that we've got our legs situated, we're going to get into the arms and shoulders. So we'll start by bringing our arms out wide. This time it's the left arm that's going to, or right arm that's going to come over the left, whichever one you didn't do last time. Hands are on the shoulders and softening those shoulders down and away. With the hands here, that's a good indicator or a good way for us to know what's happening with our shoulders. Sometimes we get a little disconnected from our bodies and we're not really sure what's happening. We don't really know where our shoulders are at unless we're looking at them or touching them. So it's a good way to get into your body. If you did so on the other side and it's accessible on this side, we're going to start to find that movement as you're ready. So on the inhale, we're going to start to lift the elbows up a little bit higher off the chest. If this isn't working, skip it. On the exhale, we'll lower them down. Let's do 2 more like that. So you can start to move with your own breath. Just checking out your shoulders, your upper back. What does it feel like to make this movement? The next time the elbows are softened down, I'm going to give you that other challenge on this side. Remember, do your best. You don't have to do it. If it doesn't work, don't do it. But if you want, you can work on bringing the backs of the hands together. And notice I'm starting with my elbows low. If this is available for you and you'd like to give it a try, you can start to lift the elbows up. If this isn't working, hands come back to the shoulders, elbows could be up or down. We're just going to hold here for 1 more breath. Nice job. And then on the exhale, we're going to go ahead and relax, release. You can unwind your arms and we'll unwind those legs. One more time, we're going to take our chest opener. So I know, I do it too. Do you find yourself sitting like this ever? This? We're going to try to get rid of that. This is not good for our back. We're putting lots of pressure on the spine when we do this. So we're going to start by coming up out of that. See if you can bring the shoulders up, back, and down. We're sitting tall, top of the head away from the tailbone. Now, one more time, we're going to start by bringing the shoulders up, back, and down. And then as you're ready, you're going to deepen it. So you can bring the hands back behind you. You could either be reaching the fingertips away, or if it's available, you can start to bring the hands closer together and you might be able to hold on to an opposite thumb, or you might be able to interlace the fingers in some way. If that's not working, keep your hands extended back, reach the chest, think about lifting the chest up. So we're working on the shoulders here. Big breaths, keep the breath flowing. Notice if there's a tendency to hold the breath. And then let's relax, release. You can bring your hands back to your knees. We'll just take another little twist and then we're just about done with our practice. So whenever we're going to twist or move the spine, we want to start by finding that length. So the 7th movement of the spine, we have our twists, we have our side bends, forward bend, back bend. The 7th movement is that upward lift. So notice how it feels to sit normally and then see if you can just lift up the top of the head a little bit. There's that kind of feeling of extension that happens through the spine. So from there, that is the place we want to twist from. So lift up. On the exhale, we're going to take that left hand to the right knee. Right hand can take the side of the chair or the back of the chair, whatever you can reach with ease. Make sure the shoulders aren't bunching up. The back is long and strong, lifting the top of the head toward the ceiling. If it's appropriate, you can start to take the gaze back behind you to deepen your twist, but you want to be aware of your neck, Take care of yourself. Skip that if it's not appropriate for you today. Breath is flowing. Then on the next exhale, we're going to slowly unwind and we'll come all the way back to neutral. We're going to do the other side, so think about lifting up. See if you can find that extension through the spine. Then on the exhale, right hand will slide to left knee, left hand can take the side of the chair, the back of the chair, wherever feels comfortable. It's not so important where your hands land. What's more important is that you're honoring your own body today. So sit tall as you inhale. As you exhale, you can take the gaze back behind you. And what does that mean to honor your body? It means making the decisions that are appropriate for us in each moment rather than listening to the ego or listening to what I'm saying. You want to honor you. That's the object, the whole goal of our yoga practice. Then as you exhale, we're going to gently unwind, come back to center. Let's go ahead and come into a little bit of relaxation. So we're going to start to slide the hips back onto the chair. And you can sit in any way that makes you feel comfortable here. So if you would like to extend the legs out a little bit, if you want to rest the palms face down or palms up on your lap, arms by your sides, chest could rest on or chin could rest toward the chest, or it could stay lifted. We're just going to start to close our eyes here and we'll bring our awareness through our body. So starting at the feet and then taking awareness all the way up until you reach the top of the head. So all we're doing here is checking in with the body. We did this at the beginning of class, so this is a good time to acknowledge or recognize what feels different after our yoga practice. See if you can start to allow all the muscles of the body to relax here. So we're at that point where all the work is done. It isn't often that we're asked to completely relax. Sometimes this can be a little bit challenging. If that's true for you, just think about deepening your breath, and this will help your body rest more fully. If you'd like, we'll do a little bit of a breathing exercise together. So I will count out the breaths to help you lengthen and deepen your breath. If it does not feel good to move with my breath, then go back to your own natural breath. On the next inhale, we're going to see if we can lengthen the inhale to the count of 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, smooth inhales, 1, 2, 3. Exhaling to the count of 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. As you're ready, you can move back to your natural breath. Or if that was useful for you, you can continue counting your own breath. Feeling the whole body resting here. Acknowledging any sensation. Acknowledging yourself. begin to deepen your breath. Just starting to bring awareness back to your body. If you'd like, you could start to find movement in fingers or toes, ankles or wrists. On the next inhale, if you'd like, you can take a big stretch from fingers to toes, reaching arms overhead. On the exhale, we'll come back to that neutral seat. If you choose, you can draw hands to your own heart. We'll take one final breath together to close our practice. On the inhale, filling the lungs, taking in all the benefits of our practice. On the exhale, letting go of anything that isn't serving us. Sealing with a forward bow. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave it in the comments. See you soon. Take good care of yourselves.